Welcome to The Legal View. I'm David Hogg, and this is Aaron Gartlan. Tonight's guest is Dothan Police Officer Monica Carney.
And on tonight's edition of the Legal Brief, we're going to be discussing industrial accident and death cases, and in particular a case that David and I are handling in Houston County right now.
American law is complex and not always easily understood, so a little help and advice can go a long way. The attorneys of Hogg and Gartlan Law Firm in Dothan present Legal View.
The Legal View with Hogg and Gartlan.
We're proud tonight to have Dothan Police Officer Monica Carney as our guest on The Legal View. And just to give the viewers a little bit of background information about her, Monica is a 10-year veteran of the Dothan Police Department. She's very active in the community and participates in several different organizations throughout the community. She's won numerous awards. She's also a military veteran and is currently in the Army Reserve and has had several deployments throughout her military career into the Middle East, and it's especially gratifying for me to have her as a guest. Monica and I are great friends. We went to Dothan High School together, and she's a friend of myself as well as my wife Suzanne, and we have a lot of friends in common. So we're very excited to have her on the show tonight.
Monica, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I am very honored to be here.
And we're glad to have you. I understand that you've known Aaron for a long time. Have you ever had to arrest him or?
No, I'm thankful to say that no, I've never had to arrest Aaron.
Well, it's good to have friends on the police force, I guess.
Yes, it is. It's also very good to have friends that are law enforcement on the other side in terms of being an attorney.
Now, Monica, I know I gave everybody a little bit of an introduction to you, and I know one of the things I didn't talk about that you want to get into detail about here on the show tonight is you're in charge of the Community Watch program here in Dothan, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Would you tell everybody, what that is and what you do?
Yes. The Community Watch program is a program designed to heighten citizens' awareness about crime in the city of Dothan and to also build a partnership between the citizens and law enforcement and the local government for the city of Dothan. So we want everyone to be aware of what our program consists of with the different training courses that are offered as a part of the program.
And now, is that something through the Dothan Police Department that you do within the department?
Yes, it is. My primary position with the police department at this time is to be the coordinator over the program. What we want to do is inform the citizens again, train the citizens, and make our partnership between the citizens and law enforcement a lot better than what it has been in the past.
So I guess it's somewhat similar to the old Neighborhood Watch program.
Yes, it is. It's actually an expansion of the old Neighborhood Watch program. This is on a national level where, again, the previous program, the Neighborhood Watch, has converted to the Community Watch program where citizens and law enforcement, again, build a partnership. And the police department in particular provides different training courses to the citizens to make them more aware of what's going on involving their community with crime and other problems such as homeland security issues, emergency preparedness issues. We want to make sure that our citizens are aware and trained on what to do in the event that they have a circumstance of that nature to occur in their community.
Monica, how long have you been a police officer?
I have been in law enforcement for over 15 years.
And I understand you have a promotion forthcoming, is that right?
Yes, I do.
Tell us about that.
On September 9th, the department will promote me and I think 15 other officers to the position of corporal.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
You understand are involved in a number of civic organizations.
Yes, I have been involved in a number of different civic organizations. I held the position of WIN, which is Women in NAACP. I was the chairman of that organization, and at this particular time, I'm no longer the chair. The position is still available, and I do help out from time to time just to keep my feet wet and be involved in the community. Different organizations. I may not be affiliated as being a chair or someone of that nature, but if friends of mine are participating in an organization, they may call on me to assist them, and I gladly go out and assist them.
And that's good public relations for the police force too.
Absolutely.
What is your day-to-day job with the police department right now?
Day-to-day job is, again, I am the coordinator of our Community Watch program, and I also serve as a school resource officer. So every day the students get to see me at Carver Magnet School and some of the other schools, Dothan Higher, Northview, the high schools, and they get to enjoy having Officer Carney come over and keep them in line.
Well, good. Well, Ramonica, to follow up on that, is there things that you would like to tell the viewers or the public about what they can do to participate in the Community Watch program?
Yes, they can contact the police department or me directly by calling and asking dispatch to forward them to my office line. And once they do that, they just need to leave their name, their phone number, and I will get back with them. And from there, I'll make contact and I will explain to them our process is very simple. It's having a contact person. We go out, we meet with them, and provide flyers to the neighborhood, informing the neighbors of a community watch meeting that is being hosted by the police department. And we inform them of what it takes to actually start a community watch program. And it's quite simple. The residents decide on who they want to serve as a block captain, and the block captain is given a block captain's handbook to assist them with understanding how their role is for the community watch program. And they design what's called a block tree, a block map and a phone tree of all the residents that are voluntarily participating in the program. And they keep that information next to their phone, so in the event that I send them an email or I may give them a phone call about something going on in their neighborhood, they can easily distribute the information to the other residents in the neighborhood.
Now, does this, I know you're speaking about residential neighborhoods and that type of program. Do you have program, or as part of this program, would it include the business community?
Yes, it also includes the business community, and I apologize for that, but we do want to include our businesses as well. Initially, our program started out with the residents so that we could get the program implemented, and then we wanted to expand to include our businesses, not necessarily leave them out. But again, it's a detailed program, and it requires several hands to be involved to make the program work successfully. Under the program currently, there are 6 police officers that work with me, and they are assigned to different districts that they're responsible for throughout the city of Dothan. So yes, we do want to include businesses, and I encourage our business owners to give me a call or to just make contact with the law enforcement officer and ask them to provide their information to me, and I very well will follow up with them as well.
Ramonica, I'm curious, as far as Community Watch goes, I'm sure that there's a lot of common sense involved with residents just looking out for anything that seems to be suspicious, but are you able to share information about things that persons might not normally look for that they should be aware of?
Yes, there are a number of things that we try to train our citizens on being aware of. And in the program itself, it's about getting to know your neighbors so that if something is out of place, you will be able to tell that it's out of place rather than drive by and you may see a van in the parking lot unloading all your neighbors' housewares into that van, and your neighbors aren't moving. So if you know that your neighbors are not moving, then you're able to say that that's suspicious and we need to call the police.
Good point. Well, Ray Monica, I'm sure that during your employment as a police officer, you've had an opportunity to see a lot of interesting things and have a lot of interesting experiences. And of course, Aaron and I are involved in personal injury and wrongful death, representing victims in those types of cases. And you've worked some patrol work, highway traffic patrol.
Yes.
I'm sure that you've seen a lot that relates to motor vehicle accidents where someone was injured, someone was killed.
Yes, I have.
And you've had to testify in court in some of those cases too, is that right?
That's correct.
Do you have any general observations about that process that you'd like to share with the public?
Yes, one of the things that kind of concerns me about our motorists today is the fact that when they're involved in a traffic accident, they're asked to provide proof of insurance for their motor vehicles. And they may provide a document that states that their insurance is actually in effect when truly it is not in effect and they do not have insurance or their insurance has lapsed. And once they present that document to law enforcement, they're swearing basically that they have given them true and correct information. And motorists who are involved in a traffic accident and they present that document and do not have insurance, and that creates a problem because motorists that are not at fault for the accident then have to sue civilly in order to recoup for their damages.
Well, and Ramonica, is it safe to say that even though state law requires everyone to carry a minimum amount of automobile insurance coverage, and also a person may present an insurance card, showing they have insurance, as a driver, as a motorist out there, you can't really just assume that a person's covered with automobile insurance, can you?
No, you can't. And it would be wise for all motorists to have insurance that would cover uninsured motorists, not kind of depend on the fact that the other motorist has insurance.
Well, that's a great point, and that's something that we've stressed a lot on this show. And, in a motor vehicle accident here in Dothan, traffic has grown. I know that I've seen the number of wrecks increase, it seems like, over the past several years. Traffic can be dangerous on the Circle and 231 North, and it doesn't have to be your fault, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Well, Ramonica, it sounds like the Community Watch program is just a great educational program for the community and a way for the Dothan Police Department and the citizens to work together and interact. And again, I just think it sounds like a great program. Is there anything additional that you could tell us about the program that you haven't covered already?
Yes, I want the citizens to really be aware of the fact that we don't just cater to crime. However, that is the main focus of the program. And part of the classes, our mandatory classes are our personal safety class, how to report suspicious activity, home site security, and operation identification. With our home site security, we go in and we actually walk through one of the homes and we point out different things within a home that may need addressing, that may be a security concern. And on operation identification, it kind of ties into the home site security because in that particular program, we teach our residents how to document all of their electronic devices, the types of TVs they have, VCRs they have, jewelry, different pieces of antiques, coins, or whatever they may own. We document that, and they are advised to put that in a safe location or to provide it to another relative. In the event of a fire, they will still have documentation to show, especially to their insurance companies, that they were in ownership of those items. In addition to that, if a resident wanted additional information, say concerning traffic accidents, or driver's training or information about drugs or things that they need to be aware of. What we do is we bring in an officer who has extensive training in those areas, and they will give a class to the citizens on those particular topics. So no one officer can give you all the information that you may need, which is why it's a collaborative effort for the department, the fire department, the other departments within the city of Dothan to come together and provide particular information to the citizens.
Well, Ray Monica, the Community Watch program certainly offers a lot to citizens. If people want to contact you, how can they get in touch with you for more information?
Well, for more information, they can call the Dothan Police Department at 334-615-3000, which is the main number, or they can call me directly at 615-3654.
Well, Aaron, Ray Monica was a good guest, and I had no idea that Community Watch involved so much.
David, I agree. I am glad she came on and gave us a lot of great information. And in particular, I think it's important, for people to know that police officers do more than investigate crimes and arrest people, and they also do more than write tickets.
I agree. Ray Monica's a real asset to the police department. And, by the same token, I think that lawyers sometimes, people have the perception that they are only there if you have a divorce or if you've been arrested, but lawyers can fill a wide variety of services for someone who's been involved in an accident. They can make sure that you get to the right specialist that you need to treat you, to help document your case, make sure that you're properly treated. They can help make sure that your case is maximized in its value. They can make sure that you have an investigation that begins promptly so that evidence isn't lost. Lawyers can fulfill a lot of roles in that regard.
On tonight's edition of the Legal Brief, we're going to be discussing industrial workplace accidents, injuries, and deaths, and in particular, a case that we have filed here in the Circuit Court of Houston County with a jury demand against Rex Lumber Company on behalf of an estate of a man that was killed in an industrial type, and it's an industrial type accident, and it's a wrongful death case.
Aaron, what can you tell us about this case?
Well, basically, what I can tell you at this point, of course, we're limited as to all the information that we can share because the case is still in litigation right now. But we have the great opportunity to represent the estate of a man, good, hard-working Houston County man that was killed out at Rex Lumber Company. And he was down in a machine doing some welding and maintenance, and the machine was supposed to be powered down and shut down and tagged out, so there's no way that it would become operational. And he's down doing his welding and maintenance, and someone from Rex Lumber Company turned the machine on, and it subsequently resulted in his death.
Workplace accidents don't always happen in a vacuum. Sometimes they're the result of a pattern of negligence.
David, that's right. In our experience, we have found that oftentimes these accidents and injuries, the safety, it starts at the top. In other words, the training, the policies, the procedures, everything really starts at the top.
Well, there's a government organization that's responsible for inspecting accidents that happen in the workplace. OSHA, everybody's heard of OSHA, and isn't that just good enough that the government comes in and investigates these accidents and then makes these companies do better?
Well, in a perfect world, that would be, that would be the case. But unfortunately, as we know, sometimes the conduct of a corporation, they're just not always going to implement the policies and procedures and do the things that OSHA asked them to do.
And so when you have a workplace accident where OSHA has previously been involved in inspecting and has found similar wrongdoing, similar negligence in the past, then that really becomes an issue that the jury should know about in determining what sort of damages to award.
That's right, and that's why, again, it's so important to have an experienced personal injury and accident lawyer from the very beginning, as soon as possible. Get in, locate witnesses, locate experts, gather records, gather documents, find out about that type of thing, retain experts, and really push the case and do everything in an effort to maximize recovery. And also, in the bigger picture, in the bigger scheme of things, help to make a safer workplace.
That's the result of lawsuits many times. Aaron, also, it's important for someone who has been involved in an accident on the job or whose loved one was killed in a workplace accident to hire a law firm that has the resources to be able to hire experts. Many times an expert is needed to come in and inspect the machinery that was involved in the accident, possibly do some recreation that helps explain what happened so that that information can be presented to the jury. And expert witnesses are not cheap. So it's important to hire a law firm that can put those resources into the case.
You know, David, we all have a right to have a safe work environment, to have safe work conditions. And the man that I referred to earlier, he got up and went to work like many of us do day in and day out. And he didn't make it home to his family. And there's just no reason for that. And that's something that I know we take great pride in, having the opportunity to do the kind of work that we do to hopefully make a safer work environment. And something that I would encourage people to look at and to think about if they find themselves or their family in this situation, oftentimes a company will come out and take a position for liability purposes, for purposes of limiting their liability and their exposure, and try to point the finger at the worker and try to set it up as if it's the worker's fault. But again, something that we have found is the safety starts at the top.
And that's why it's important for someone who's been involved in a workplace accident or a loved one who's been killed in a workplace accident to have good legal representation, to hold those at the top accountable. The company's going to do what it can to protect itself, and it's important for the injured worker or their family to have the representation to get in there to make sure that their rights are protected, to hold the company accountable, and to maximize the value to that family, to replace those dollars in that paycheck that the loved one was bringing home and that now aren't coming home anymore.
When we talk about workplace and industrial accidents, injuries, and deaths, those cases fall into several categories. Of course, one category would be a wrongful death case. Another category is going to be what would be considered a workers' compensation case. Alabama has a body of laws that covers workers' compensation claims. So certain injuries and deaths in the workplace would be, again, a workers' compensation claim. Other cases would be what's considered a third-party claim, possibly a product liability case for a defective piece of machinery. So that is kind of the basic category that workplace and industrial accidents, injuries, and deaths fall into. Now, again, to expand a little bit on Alabama workers' compensation law, again, when a person is injured in the workplace, and it's an employer-employee type setting in the state of Alabama, generally those cases are going to fall under the category of a workers' compensation claim. And if a person is injured on the job, it's very important that that injury is related or is reported to the employer, reported to their supervisor. Make sure that it's documented and they're put on notice of the injury. In that situation, that employee is going to be required to see the company doctor. Now, it's something that we have found in our personal injury and accident type practice, that oftentimes those doctors aren't necessarily there in all cases to help the employee. Oftentimes they're documenting, and in some cases things may go into their record that would actually hurt their case or hurt their claim. So it's very important in a on-the-job type injury for a person to, as soon as possible, seek legal advice, because those cases can get very complicated, and oftentimes they may need to follow up with doctors other than the company doctor, and again, just make sure that they're getting the benefits the way the law requires them, and also that evidence is gathered, and also that lawyer's going to look at the possibility of what I alluded to earlier, a third party claim, possibly a product liability case, if the worker is in there's an accident possibly caused by a defective piece of machinery or a defective machine. And that's, again, something that they are going to need a accident and injury lawyer looking at that case, potentially bringing in experts, gathering evidence and witnesses. Wrongful death case, whether it's a workers' compensation case, whether it's a product liability case. If there's an industrial workplace type injury or death, the injured person needs to be getting medical attention right away. Also, as soon as possible with that, need to be getting legal advice right away. And the same would apply, again, in a wrongful death case. Again, we'd like to thank Dothan Police Officer Ramonica Carney and the Dothan Police Department for allowing Ramonica to come on and be with us tonight. She was a great guest.
Yes, she was. And remember, don't text and drive. I'm glad she never had to arrest you, Aaron. Stay tuned next Sunday for The Legal View.
To submit legal questions you may have, email to aaron@hoggartlanlawfirm.com. Thanks for watching. This has been a production of the Hogg and Gartlan Law Firm and WDFX TV, Fox 34.
The Legal View with Hogg and Gartlan.